Good evening, buddy. How's it going? Hope everything's going okay. And I just wanted to give you some of these pointers to remember. And remember that we met yesterday and we did the string names. Every boy goes diving after eating. That's 1 through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember that every letter that starts each word of that little mnemonic device is what they call it. The saying to help you remember it. That's every E, boy, B, goes, G, diving, D, after, A, eating, E. So you have 2 E strings. So that's your first thing that we went over. The other thing was, no matter what guitar you're holding, most guitars are always going to have a bout. That's what they call it. A bout. Not about, but a bout of the guitar. And then you have the top part of that. Now, this little part is where it's going to sit on your lap. The acoustic guitar has the same thing, so it's just going to rest right there. And so you don't want to rest it in between because then you're going to get uncomfortable. So you just rest it right there. That's why they make guitars the way they do. And then we did the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise. So that one is really important because that one's going to help you get your hands even better as a guitar player. I had been playing for about 15 years until I learned this one. And then once I learned it, I became such a better player. So you're learning it on day 1. So you're way ahead of the curve. So you're doing a good job. So remember, each one of these boxes, most people call them frets. The actual fret is the metal piece right here. Not these metal pieces, but the metal pieces that go across the guitar neck like that. Okay? They break up the guitar neck, and if you run your hand, you can hear it going over that little metal piece. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to try and have your fingers right next to those metal pieces. So that way it doesn't sound like. Okay, no matter how long you've been playing, if you don't have your fingers in the right spot, it's not going to sound very good. So you want to make sure, and you barely have to press down. Okay, you have to press down enough. But another thing to remember is that on the back of these guitars that I have a brown line. It's called a rosewood line up the guitar. I want you to pretend that there are lines like this on every guitar, and you want to put your thumb perpendicular. Okay, that's a word that means cross on the guitar, just like this. Okay, so that's the way the back of your guitar should look whenever your hand's on it. Unless you're, further along and you're trying to do like bending or something like that. But don't worry about that right now. Just practice good form, just like that. So, with your thumb on the back, try and have it right between that second fret. Don't go like this though. Okay, make sure that you can't see it. If you're sitting across and you go look in a mirror, make sure that you cannot see your thumb. Make sure it's bashful and it's hiding. Okay, the pad of your thumb, which is that part, should be lined up, what's our word? Perpendicular to our guitar neck, okay? So it's making it like a cross. So then you're gonna go ahead and take your first finger and you're gonna put nice and adequate pressure, nice and good pressure on the string. Not too much to where it hurts your finger, but don't press on the wood because otherwise you're not gonna get a single sound. Make sure that you press on the string against the wood, all right? So then keep your fingers kind of in front of the neck. Don't go like this, because that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you down the road. You want to practice good technique and good habits. All right. So you're going to be right next to that fret marker, and then you're going to put your second finger down on the second fret, right next to it, not on top of it, but right next to it. And the third finger, same thing. And then the pinky, if you notice that you're stretching out the pinky too much, look at your thumb. Okay, make sure that your thumb is like this, because then it's going to take away that pressure on all these little muscles inside your hand. Okay? And And I just want you to do that. Every time you pick up the guitar, try and do that, all right? Try and make sure that you're playing each note nice and clear. All right? So that is our exercise that I want you to do every time that you pick up the guitar. It helps you become a much better guitar player. Okay, now the chords that we learned are G, C, and E minor. All right, now the difference between a note and a chord is the difference of one string versus two or more strings. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play a G major chord. Most people just call it a G chord, okay? So it's just going to be your third or second finger, whichever one you prefer. I actually prefer the third finger just so that way it's on the third fret, because I like to do what they call position playing, all right? So third finger, third fret, first string, all right? And that's your E string, your every string. All right, so now you're going to go ahead and strum from the third string down, and make sure that you get one nice bum, one real good solid strum. Don't, because that's not going to be a chord, okay? That's going to be something different. Okay, so remember what we talked about. Pretend there's a bug flying around here and you just want to shoo it away. So get out of here, okay? So you're going to strum that. And remember, we strummed it 8 times, okay? We strummed this one 8 times. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we went to our next chord, which is going to be E minor. All right, now to play E minor, what you have to do is you have to move your fingers. You're going to go ahead and have to take that third finger off, and you play all 3 bottom strings, your first, second, third, E, B, G string, open. Okay, 8 times on that one also. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then our last chord that we learned is a C major chord. You're going to bend this finger over, and you're going to make sure that it looks like a shrimp tail. Remember we talked about that? Make sure that it looks like a shrimp tail, so you don't hit the first string, you don't hit the third string. You're only hitting that second string. All right? And you're just going to strum it from the third string down again. 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to go back to G. Now, the reason why we use the third finger is because it's easier, so that way you're not using your first finger to move all over the place. You have multiple fingers for a reason, because as a guitar player, you don't want to just be limited to one finger. That's just going to mess you up. You won't be able to play solos. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. You got to have on multiple fingers, so practice good habits. Now, here's the song, the chord progression is what we called it. Remember that? It's G, E minor, C, back to G, repeat. Okay, so you're going to play G twice as long on the second time. All right, we're going to play through that chord progression twice, nice and slow, so that way you can play along with the video. All right, so I'm going to count us off. I'm going to give us a 4 count and then go right into it. We're going to strum each chord 8 times. You ready? So here we go. So get ready on the G. So 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Next one's E minor, take all of them off. 5, 6, here we go on C. Back to G. 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, start over now, G. E minor. Getting ready for that C. Back to G. Nicely done. All right. And so those were the 3 things that we covered yesterday for your first lesson. All right, now if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, okay? The only bad question is a question not asked. All right, so have a great week, and I will see you on Monday. All right, buddy.